It's a fantastic concept, and let's just try and build it and make it bigger and better.
There's an absolutely brilliant, stinging line from Rodri Jones in that interview, by the way, where he just honest. I don't think Kev Brown's ever been taken off the over knees as well as Rodri did a little earlier.
The game's kicking off now.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to the podcast to hear that. It was great. It was really good, really good. Anyway, listen to the podcast, you'll hear it. Jack Smith's leading out the ball, bringing out the ball here. His two touch judges coming on as well. The two teams are out there. It's the denouement of this weekend. We hope it's not the final match of any Magic weekend. We've loved this concept. We hope we're doing it again somewhere nice, somewhere good next year as well. But this has been a perfect weekend in terms of weather. And the sun is still shining, the skies above are still blue. There were some fluffy clouds around earlier, but even they seem to have disappeared, and there's a dappled pattern across this St James's Park pitch. The shadows of this huge stand in which we're sitting, and those will lengthen as this match goes on. But we'll probably not notice that, because this should be, we hope, a high quality game. Two fairly one-sided games so far today. Lee 30, Wakefield 4, Saints 48, Huddersfield 6. We're hoping this is going to be a close one, a good one, a real classic. Ratchford kicks us off. Hull will get first touch of the ball, and here comes Brad Fash to run it back towards that, well, not even up to the 10-metre line before the defence comes in and pushes him down. Hatton out of dummy half, and now it's taken on by Scott Taylor, who makes it to that 10-metre mark. So if you're joining us late, this is the way they're lining up. Tex Hoy at full-back. The three-quarters, Darnell McIntosh, Cameron Scott, Liam Sutcliffe and Adam Swift. This is the whole team, of course. Jake Truman and Jake Clifford. And then Brad Fash, Danny Houghton, Scott Taylor, Josh Griffin, Jordan Lane and Joe Cater. And on the bench, Lingy Sao, Tabita Sate, Chris Sate. They put his formal name down there. We know him as Chris. Andre Savelio and Brad Dwyer. And for Warrington, Matt Duffy, full-back, three-quarters, Conor Wrench, Greg Minikin, Stephen Ratchford, Matty Ashton. The halves, George Williams and Josh Drinkwater, Gil Dodson, Darryl Clark, Paul Vaughan, Ben Curry, James Harrison, Peter Martortia are the pack, and Joe Bullock, Joe Philbin, Danny Walker, Lucas Green are the interchange players. Referee for this one's Jack Smith. And if you are listening to us and thinking, where's the tennis from Roland Garros? If you'd rather have that, then have a listen to the BBC 5 Live on BBC Sounds. But here on 5 Sports Extra for the next couple of hours, we're concentrating on Rugby League. Hull have got to the end of their set, kick downfield. Warrington have the ball now, back inside the whole half.
Yeah, and it's definitely advantage Warrington. I think most games are won and lost on the pack, and at the minute the pack are just rolling through Hull FC, and they really got stuck in that opening set defensively and kept them to kick from the 30. Now Warrington are going to kick the ball, and it's going to be an attacking, competitive kick.
Here's Williams, puts it up, so Hoy's got a bit of pressure on him, and the hands grasping at that. The ball ricochets and flies out of play. What's the referee given here? Who got the last touch? It's Warrington's head and feet.
Yeah,
Warrington who get the play the ball.
So they've earned the right there, and that's all off the back of the defensive set. I think Gil Dudson and Paul Vaughan have really got to stand up today because of Cassiano and Maguire's absence, and they've done that in the first set, Woodsy.
So here comes Clark out of dummy half. Opportunity knocking here. Vaughan for Warrington, drives it in. Gathered in by 3-4 Hull defenders and put down. Nice to see a contrast between the teams' playing strips as well today. Warrington in the primrose and blue. This is Curry trying to burst through. Hull in a kind of a black and white. It's a mosaic black and white for them. Clark out of dummy half, 5 metres out, runs towards the centre of the field again. Offers it back for Dudson, and Dudson tries to push. He's going to be put down within sight of the line, but short. Now it comes to a big effort from Vaughan, and Vaughan almost bounces over as well from the pass there from Williams. He almost gets in. Clark spins it back with Williams. Williams with a left foot step, then puts a right-footed chip towards the left-hand side, in the air, taken superbly on that far side by Conor Wrench. And Warrington have the first try of the game. First attack of the game, almost the first set of the game, and they have a try.
And that's built on defence. They won the battle early on to have that first crack with the ball. And it was a steady start from Warrington. It was a patient build-up, but then George Williams gets the ball, and he's shut down on his left-hand side. He wanted to put the kick in that way, and he comes back off his foot and sees Conor Wrench and puts the kick through. And the man who's been out for near enough 9 months with a knee injury comes back, and he flies onto the ball and jumps and leaps in front of the Hull FC defenders and scores a terrific try.
Well, great start for him, heartwarming as well, and certainly heartwarming as far as Warrington are concerned, leading as they do by 4 points to 0, and Ratchford has a conversion here from 20 metres out, slightly right of the sticks. That's disconcerting from Hull's point of view, isn't it, to concede so early like that?
Yeah, you've just got to tip your hat there. I think the way that George Williams put that kick absolutely on the money so he could run, jump, and the sun's in his eyes there as well. You can see from the shadows, Dave, that the sun was banging his eyes, and you know that's really hard to defend, but yeah, they just need physically to be better, the Hull FC. And it's not that set, it's the set previously when they're carrying the ball. They only made 20 metres in the full set.
So here comes Ratchford with this conversion attempt. 20 metres out, about 12 metres in from the far touchline. It's kind of that middling difficulty from a conversion attempt, and he's kicked it well enough, has he? Yep, the flags go up, and Ratchford adds the 2 to the 4. And Warrington lead here by 6 points to 0 with just about 5 minutes played.
Yeah, and now it's up to Hull FC to inflict some of the same kind of treatment that Warrington did in the first set. They need to get the ball kicked down as deep as they can by Texoy and sprint down and try and contain them as much as they can, and hopefully make them kick from their own 30 like Warrington did, so that gives them some ascendancy with the ball.
Producer Craig, quick on the stats. It's the 12th successive game against Hull that Stefan Ratchford has scored points. I'd be more impressed if it was the 12th successive game he'd scored tries. Goal kicker, it's a bit easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a stat.
Hey, and he can kick them from all over, Steph. He showed that there. It's a massive bonus when your kicker kicks them over and changes them 4s to 6s.
Warrington back in possession, looking to drive it out with Dudson. Dudson is put down 32 metres out from their own line. Clark picks up from dummy half and goes for a little adventure forward again. Offloads as it looked as he was going to be tackled there. 6 minutes played and Warrington have an early lead. Connor Wrench with a try. Kick to the corner from George Williams, superbly flighted. Wrench got up to catch it well. Ratchford has converted as well, so 6 minutes played. It's Warrington 6, Hull 0. And it's Warrington in possession here. Kick downfield. We were just joined by our friends and colleagues on 5 Live, giving them an update as to what's been happening here. But it's back with us, just you and us again. How we like it to be. 6 minutes played. Hull back in possession, 20 metres out. Kev.
Yeah, loving the one-on-one duel on this edge from George Williams opposite Jake Truman, and you know, on another day they could have been international partners and maybe well still at some stage, but the competition between these two at the moment, you know, they've just been taking each other on. It's a fantastic battle, and whoever does come out on that today wins that battle. I'm sure the respective teams will win the game too.
5 gone. Here comes the 6th tackle. Before they reach that point, it's leathered downfield by Jake Truman, and it's caught on that far side by Miniker, who's caught it and brings it back. It's Wrench who's caught it and brings it back.
Yeah, he's lost no pace, has he, when he's been injured? He's flew into that then.
I mean, they do, these young fellas, they do have some pace on the width, on the edges, don't they, Warrington? Yeah. Wrench on one side, Ashton on the other. Yeah,
just about as quick as they get in the competition. If they do get through, you know, it's shut the gate.
Oh, here he goes, Ashton.
And that's probably where Matty Ashton's game's really improved. It's not just his finishing, he's just won a set restart for his team, and when he carries the ball out of backfield, he's also very, very dangerous.
Threatened to rip a hole in that Hull defence, but was stopped. Now it's Clark fiddling through, the ball bounces off Williams' knee. It's taken by Hoy. The referee has seen something in there. I think he's going to give I
think he was tackled off the ball there, George Williams.
Right, so it's a penalty here for Warrington.
And that was an important tackle as well. That's probably a penalty that they'll be quite happy with, because I think if he doesn't tackle him off the ball there, Darrell Clark finds him with a pass. It's Paul Vaughan actually who's took off the ball.
Yeah, plunging to the ground. So penalty for Warrington, which Williams will take. Kicks to touch, flies out of play 25 metres away from that Hull line. So here go Warrington again. Tell you what, the way they've started, it could be one-sided Sunday, because 2 one-sided games so far, and the way Warrington have started here.
Yeah, and this is where they're better, Woodsy. This is where they're better this year than they were last. They look dangerous all over the field, and I think you can put that down to the balance that Drinkwater adds to this side.
Peter Matorti, another set restart for Warrington, 12 metres out. So 6 tackles to come from here, 12 metres out. They're already leading by 6 points to 0. Vaughan now twists in the tackle and throws it back to Williams. Williams goes back towards the line and offers it up to Matortia. Matortia tries to push his way through. 3 Hull defenders dealing with him and putting him on his back, but only 2, 3, 4 strides away from that whole line. Clark with a no-look pass. Vaughan goes in, flicks the ball away when he looked to be tackled. Clark again trying to thread himself through all the bodies. I think he might be over there, as he knows he's not quite made it, and I think he might have lost the ball. He has. Hull have it back again.
Well, that's a chance gone begging there, because Darryl Clark, he'd done all the hard work. The offload by Vaughan was brilliant, and then Darryl Clark, he looks like he's evaded the tackler but can't get the ball down, so big let off there for Hull FC.
Hull back in possession, 15 from their own line. 9 minutes played, Hull 0, Warrington 6. It tells us on the big scoreboard at one end. Oh, Hull have lost it, or was it stolen? Stolen, the referee says. And he's given a penalty. Hull's way, they need that. 30 metres out from their own line, a chance to clear their lines now.
Yeah, they did need that, and it's given them a little bit of energy too, and it's brought this Hull FC faithful a big travelling support into this game, and I think it's important that they get the next points, because like we've seen a couple of times today, once the game does start to slip away from teams, especially on this fantastic surface in this heat, that it can soon come one-sided. So it's important that Hull FC doesn't have to be in this set, but I think they have to score next.
So I've eaten too much today, Kev, I'll tell you. I know you're used to 2 pies a day, but since you're retired, you're
actually cut down today.
You're a 2 pie a day man, but could do with eating something healthy soon. Anyway, Hull are back in possession, penalty taken, tap restart. Here comes Danny Hout now, dummy half, and it's thrown out to Brad Fash, and Fash with iconic hairstyle drives it. This is as close as Hull have been to the Warrington line so far in the game. 30 metres out, Truman goes left, Taylor that look forward, gets the pass away, the referee says play on, Griffin will take it another stride or 2. 10 metres out, Hull with a real opportunity now. Back it comes towards Hoy, who's cut down for the Truman pass. Ratchford in, reads it, makes a tackle. Houghton goes out again. Hull trying to fling it left, a dabbed kick into that in-goal area. It's flicked back again by Clifford. The ball's bouncing round and picked up by Wrench on that far side. Well, the ball was kicked into the in-goal. He's offloaded it before he goes out of play. Warrington still have it. This is incredible stuff. This is like circus skills. Warrington keep it alive. Curry now. Curry gets the pass away. Ratchford immediately puts it onto Ashton, because he's the man with the pace. Ashton over the halfway line. Well, what happened next? What happened then? Never mind what happened next. Ratchford picks it up again now. Runs it inside the Hull half. Midway inside that Hull half. Warrington are going right again. Minican with a pass out to Wrench. Wrench breaking down that right hand side. Tries to put a kick on the ball. It dribbles along the floor. Clifford drops on it. Hull have it back. Well, end to end incredulity.
I'm tired. I'm tired from watching that set.
Let's just go through it. The kick to the in-goal. Clifford wasn't going to touch it down, so he flicked it back, but it went back into the field of play, and then Warrington almost went the length of the field.
Then Connor Wrench got it on one side and looked like he were going to go the length. It went to Matty Ashton, he looked like he were going to go the length, and then it went back to Connor Wrench and he ended up in the corner. So unbelievable passage of play and great attacking play from both sides. That was brilliant.
You know what that was, don't you? Magic.
On a magic weekend.
It remains Hull 0, Warrington 6 on 5 Live Sports Extra. Full commentary on this game, the last match of the 6th that we've seen. Some of the lessons we might have learnt we'll be discussing in our podcast, and as I said, we'll be hearing from Rodri Jones as well, talking about, well, lots of things. He's the, if you didn't know, managing director of Rugby League Commercial, the new body that runs the game. So lots of stuff talked about. International Rugby League, Magic Weekend. Oh, the ball is dropped as Hull trying to go through hand in an innocuous situation, and Williams will pick it up and has an easy job just to scamper home from 30 metres out. Hull FC their own worst enemies. Simple, clumsy play, and Warrington have a second try.
Yeah, and you mentioned before the game, what will Darryl Powell be saying about Jake Truman? And I think it's clear that he said cut his time and space down, and on that occasion it was the man who we highlighted in a head-to-head battle, George Williams, who put pressure under him, and instead of just catching the ball and taking the tackle, he looked to catch it one-handed and sidestep George Williams. He drops the ball straight into the path of George Williams, who tours it forward and takes the lead to 10 points to nil. Who surely Steph Ratchford will knock these two over in front of the sticks to make it 12, and that's a devastating blow for Hull FC, who were just starting to get back into this game.
Yeah, well, they're back under the sticks and they're having a chat with themselves again here. A little bit of character needed from Hull FC now, because they're under the pump, trailing 12-0. 14 minutes played. We've just seen Tony Smith on the big screen, slamming his pen down, shaking his head. Not an unlikely reaction, was it, that?
No, because he knows how important it's going to be defending and how hard it's going to be scoring points, and that was a bit of a gimme. But you just get the feeling George Williams is feeling this today. He's a big game player. This is a big stage, and you just feel like he's going to burst out, put in one of them performances.
So here's a kick from underneath the sticks, more or less, from Stephen Ratchford, 10 metres out, over it goes, 2 out of 2, and a 5-star start from Warrington's point of view. 12 points to nil. They lead this game now. It's been so hard to predict this season. It's so hard to predict before a game how a game will go. Very often Wakefield matches you're fairly confident, but even Castleford, you know, and this is one again. Before the game today, you thought this could be anything today, but at the moment it's Warrington.
Well, at the moment, but as we know, the game can change in a blink of an eye, and you know, I just don't think we can say this game's over. There's 15 minutes gone so far, and Hull FC are unlucky to be 12 points down, but like we said previously, they just need to forget that now and make sure they score next. But that's a great kick-off.
High and hanging, and it's going to be Hull who get it back again, only 10 metres from the Warrington line. Terrific stuff, put right up in the air, and Cameron Scott comes up with possession, 10 metres, so straight away Hull are on the attack here. Brad Fash is directly in front of the sticks, 5 metres out when he's tackled. Hatton picks up a dummy half, skims it to that left-hand side. Clifford to Hoy. Hoy tries to step back in. Warrington's defence is robust though, and he can't do that, more than one player. And he's tackled 10 metres out again. Back to the middle, once more it comes. Joe Cater driving centrally. Again, they're under the sticks here, Hull, so options both sides. Hatton to that left-hand side it goes. It's taken on by Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe now upended, tries to get back to his feet, but down he goes, dropped on quickly by Warrington's defenders. Back it comes from Hoy. Hoy kicks it towards the goal line. It's knocked down, and Danny Houghton is there to pick it up and get over the line. The referee's going for the video ref. There'll be a question of who knocked it. Did it go forwards or backwards? But I suspect there's no doubting about the actual touchdown here. I think Danny Houghton might have got an important try back here for Hull. Video referee being asked,
and it did look like it went backwards to me, so we'll see what the video ref says, but I think Hull FC can be quite optimistic about this one.
So I mean, it's a great kick, isn't it? We pay tribute very often. It's the hang of the kick, isn't it, where it falls to ground. That's gone backwards.
It's gone backwards anyway, yeah. and I think it came off George Williams too, so you know, that's real important. This will be a great shot in the arm for Hull FC and the fans, that they've got something to cheer about in the first 20 minutes of this contest.
Well, Leeds are the proponents of the short kick-off this year. That wasn't a short kick-off, it was a 30-metre kick-off, but it's landed superbly from Hull, gave them possession back again, and then in the build-up after that, Danny Houghton, we're just seeing on the big screen, I think they're going to give this only one viewing of the grounding. Decision pending. Wait for the roar from the Hull fans. There it goes, Danny Houghton, and that is a huge try for them to score.
A huge try, and I used to play with a player who used to practice them kickoffs in Pat Richards. The torpedo kickoff is one of the hardest things to receive, and where he landed it as well, Textor, he landed it right in between everyone, and it caused mayhem, and Cameron Scott put his body on the line and got that. And then again, another kick into the air, this time off, I think it was Clifford, puts the kick up, and George Williams, who started this game terrifically well, can't handle the kick, and Danny Houghton, as all good hookers do, he's trudging up the middle just in case and picks up on the scraps. And yeah, we've got a game on now. We can't write them off, we said, and this is exactly why.
Yeah, Clifford's got a kick in front of the sticks, just as we assumed or even presumed that the goal from Ratchford was going to be scored. Then I think we can have the same presumption here, because it's 10 metres out. Clifford's not being rushed, just takes his time, rocks forward on his left foot, back on his right foot, and now he strides in and belts the ball up and between the sticks into those Warrington fans at that end. That's the Lees' end, isn't it, that we're looking at? The famous...
The Gallagher
end, sorry, the Gallagher end. The famous Gallagher. In fact, there's a big sign up there that says this is the Gallagher, which is a bit of a clue, isn't it?
It says this is the Cowgate on it.
It's fallen down a bit, hasn't it? Yeah. 12-6. Warrington 12, Hull 6. From the game's point of view, I think that was the best next turn for Hull to score, because had Warrington scored next, then who knows where this might have gone. But at the moment, 12-6, Warrington lead. Ratchford restarts for Warrington, belts it downfield. 17 minutes played, and here is the first drive from Scott Taylor in this renewed set. Hull in possession, just short of the 20, right hand side. Taylor bounces to his feet now, and Hull looking to work a passage away from their own end of the field as quickly as they possibly can. Houghton at dummy half from Jordan Lane's play the ball. Now it's Clifford to Hoy. Hoy, the fullback, in the line again, tries to take them on. Are you seeing more from them? Are you more impressed with that Clifford and Hoy combination, the two ex-Newcastle players?
Yeah, I think now that Truman's been added into the fold, I think the perfect balance is there now. I thought at the start of the year there was missing something, and that was clearly Jake Truman. It just frees them up, and as we see, Hoy getting on, his kicking game is crucial, and it's been fantastic so far today. I'm just looking at the bench for Hull FC. I don't think it'll be long before Sowan, Satai and Savelio come on. I think this was probably a ploy by Tony Smith to save them on the bench and roll them all out at a similar time.
High kick taken by Warrington, and they run it back towards that 25 metres mark and just beyond as well. Clark's at dummy half. We have played at 90 minutes. It's Hull 6, Warrington 12. A second Warrington try scored by George Williams. Looked as though it was going to be an easy afternoon for Warrington, but Danny Houghton from the restart, Hull getting the ball back, and Danny Houghton at the end of that managing to dive underneath the sticks. Clifford's kicked the goal, so it's game on again. 19 minutes played in the first half, and it's Warrington 12, Hull 6. And here is Tex Hoy, who runs it back from the kick downfield to almost 30 metres from his own line.
Yeah, and they're just getting right back into this contest now. George Williams having to kick from the 40-metre line on that occasion, because defensively they were so good there, Hull, and they're easily making yards over the halfway. Cam Scott takes the team, so they can be really enthused by the way they're getting back into this game and got back into the game. And I feel that they think now the middle of the field is where they're vulnerable, the Warrington Wolves.
Well, this is Truman, who's going to be tackled on the 40-metre mark inside the Warrington half. Houghton spins it to that left-hand side. Taylor with a short pass. Brad Fash will take it on, and Fash has three defenders around him, but he's made decent metres there after the initial contact. He's taken them up to the 20-metre mark. Houghton goes left again. Clifford tries to jag it through, and it's just stopped by Dufty, and it looked like he was going to spring up and maybe go 80 metres, but he couldn't quite get back to his feet, and Hull managed to make the tackle.
Yeah, well, that's the second time Jake Clifford's put a kick in. One time he knocked it back, and then this time Matt Dufty dives on it, and if he doesn't fall over there, I agree with you, I think he goes the length, and that's probably an area that they just need to be a bit smarter, where they finish it on their terms, and if they don't get the ball through the line, they can keep hold of the ball and run it and put it in the corner.
Ashton runs it forward centrally, tackled, gets up, plays it short of the 40-metre mark. Warrington 12, Hull 6, 20 minutes of the first half played, but they're on the sixth tackle here. Warrington still inside their own half, so Williams, a little bit of pressure from Fash, but gets a high kick downfield. Oh, it was a huge kick that was swirling all over the place. Impossible for Darnell McIntosh, because it was close to that was a perfect kick. McIntosh knocks it on, it goes out of play off him as well, and Warrington will get the ball back. Or is it a scrum down from the knock on? I'm not sure. Anyway, all things being equal, Warrington get the ball back here It is a play the ball 20 metres out.
Yeah, and I think Darnell McIntosh, if he did have his time again, he'd leave that ball. And you say never let the ball bounce, but on that occasion, I think he made his decision, and then the ball started swirling away from him, further backwards and onto the touchline. So it ended up being the perfect scenario for George Williams and the opposite for Darnell.
So Warrington have it back and immediately looking to launch an attack here. 12 metres out from that whole line. Clark picks up, swings it to his left. Matortia now takes it into the teeth of that whole defence, defending their line in the shadows. And now Vaughan tries to roll his way over those defenders, but they're hanging on grimly. There's still 3 plays to go in this set. Clark out to that right-hand side. It's slid into the in-goal area by Drinkwater, wonderfully swept up by Swift, and Swift just reaches out an arm to ground it in the field of play so that his side can run it out now instead of have to drop kick out.
That's an incredible bit of wing play, not only to pick the ball off his boots and defend the kick and not allow them to score, but to get out under that pressure, and then he's backed it up with another carry there and got his team on the front foot. Brilliant work by Adam Swift, the winger for Hull FC.
And there's Hoy, who carries it on another 10 metres or so, out now to dummy half. Taylor again, indefatigable. He'll be joining us, by the way, Scott, on a podcast in the next couple of weeks, so look forward to that. Here is a big kick up in the air from Clifford. This is going to land in no man's land. No, it's not, because Duffy's come a long way forward to catch it and immediately threatens to make a break with his pace into the whole half by a distance. They can't keep hold of him. Eventually the tackle does come in and he is put down, but only 15 metres out. Thrilling stuff from Duffy, and Warrington, with a kick downfield that landed in their own half into Duffy's hands, suddenly find themselves attacking inside the whole half by a distance. Ratchford now trying to trick his way through. Tattle 20 metres out, left hand side. Still 4 plays to go. Here's Curry into the middle. Williams, now Dudson taking it on. Interchange from Warrington's point of view. Matortia's come off, and Joe Philbin, or crash bang wallop Joe, has gone on the field. Here's Clark 5 metres out. Warrington at the moment, Drinkwater with a double pump, but the pass goes backward. Ratchford has to pick it up. It's all he can do, and then he's tackled very quickly by Scott. Is that another set of 6 here that the referee's just waved? No, it's not. This is the 6th tackle. Curry puts the ball into the in-goal area. Bodies are flying all over the place. Last off a whole hand, out dead, behind the dead ball line, drop out underneath the sticks.
Joe Philbin's in a bit of bother. His first contribution to the game was chasing a kick, and he's gone down there. I think he's maybe popped his shoulder. He's holding that really bad. Looks like it's dislocated, but it was a great bit of skill by Williams and Duffy to set it off. It was a real big concern, as we did expect. Satai and Sow come on at the same time. They're going to have to defend this dropout first.
Yeah, Taylor and Fash coming off. Satai and Sow coming on. Philbin's okay in respect of he's going to carry on playing for the moment. He's still kind of holding his shoulder. But a drop kick downfield. Warrington have it, and they're already 30 metres out from that whole line. So a chance again for them to really attack here.
Yeah, and they set it up for the middle, and Josh Drinkwater, when he's combining with Matt Duffy, it looks really dangerous. So watch out for that combination once again in this set.
Dudson drives it to within 10 metres, again fairly central. Clark picks up, comes to this left hand side. Williams with that big left foot step tries to sneak between a couple of defenders, but they close their shoulders together and block his running path, and he has to get up and play it. Still a yard or two short. Clark from dummy half, he's going to have a go. Wrapped up by defenders, gets the pass away. Dudson does well under pressure to get another pass away. Here's Ratchford 15 metres out, offloaded again to Philbin. Philbin throws it to Drinkwater to that right hand side now. Warrington are beginning to shape up. Minikin bounces out of one tackle from Clifford, but Clifford gets back and tigerishly gets around him and puts him down. So Warrington have been forced back a bit here. They're on the last play in this set. They're 25 metres out. And Williams puts the kick up in the air, and it's a great take by Swift on that far side. Hull have it back again, 12 from their own line.
Yeah, great defence, and great defence by the big boppers, Satai and Sow, who've come on and given this team some energy and denied Warrington the opportunity there. But I've been watching Joe Philbin since that injury, and he's still holding that shoulder. So this is one where I'm going to watch him in this set, and maybe if he can't get through this set, he'll probably have to come off straight away, which will really damage, you know, the bench for Warrington Wolves today.
Yep, he's there in the middle working hard at the moment, but Houghton out of dummy half will kick downfield. Oh yeah, he's Shoulders hanging at the moment. The kick downfield is picked up by Matty Ashton, and Ashton for Warrington runs it back to the 30-metre mark. Yeah, I mean, Philbin's shoulder, his arm is just hanging down, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks to me like he's either got some nerve damage or the shoulder's popped in and out, and he's one of the toughest players. He's going to carry it now.
Here we go.
But we'll see what it's like after carrying the ball.
Well, he's got a penalty, high tackle. Well, he gets up, does Philbin. Penalty for Warrington, 5 metres short of the halfway line. Yeah, the physio is on, and he's pointing at the shoulder as if to say, yeah, he needs to get off here, and he is coming off, and Bullock is coming on in his place. Yeah, it's a shake of the head from Joe Philbin. Don't look like he's coming back, does it?
Oh, that's massive, because you're already missing Maguire and Cassiano, now Philbin. So Joe Bullock, Paul Vaughan and Gil Dudson are going to have to spread 4-man's job between 3, which is huge, because we know one of the best things about Hull FC is the middle of the field and the size of the pack.
Well, Philbin's just disappeared from sight. I think he's gone down the tunnel, which is never a good sign when a player goes off with an injury. Meantime, Warrington have an attacking position, and here's Dudson, 20 metres out, still Hull 6, Warrington 12, 13 minutes of the first half remaining. Clark goes scampering out a dummy half. He's going to have a real attacking run of that whole line, but they hold him up. Cater's there, a couple of others managed to put him down, 8 metres short of the Hull line. Hull under pressure at the moment, as they have been for large amounts of this game. Drinkwater with a pass that goes to ground. Ratchford comes in and swoops it up one-handed, and then that was a very unnatural position he went down in, wasn't it? Kind of over defenders. He's got up and played it, and here's Vaughan, and Vaughan pops the pass away to Curry. Ratchford suddenly realises the ball is coming his way, so skips about. Curry's tackled 10 metres out. Last play here, Warrington, Drinkwater, left-footed, kicks to that right-hand side. The ball goes through everybody's hands, bounces up in the air, and is taken by Liam Sutcliffe, and Hull have it back 10 from their own line.
Well, I thought Warrington were really, really clinical at the start of the game, but they look sloppy now, Dave. They look like that fatigue's got into the bones, and you know, Steph Ratchford's limping around, Joe Philbin's come off, and I don't know whether the disruption has disrupted the way that they're attacking, but Josh Drinkwater's thrown a couple of balls to the floor, and Hull FC just getting the ascendancy in this game now. They just need to clear the lines and get some attacking football themselves.
Sow gets up and plays the ball as Hull begin to bring it forward with Chris Satai excuse me, who's knocked on. Well, that's a big mistake, and Bullock and Clark are celebrating that moment, because they've got the ball back at the scrum here, 40 metres out from the Hull line.
Yeah, and they're doing all the hard work, and he's just dropped the ball cold. They're doing all the hard work, Hull FC. They're defending the line, they're carrying the ball strong, but then at the last minute he's just dropped the ball there, Chris Satai, and now he puts his team under pressure, and they're going to introduce Danny Walker as well, so fresh legs from dummy half. We're going to have to defend really well to stay in this contest.
11 minutes of the first half remaining. Warrington leading 12-6 against Hull. The final game of this magic weekend. Williams now arcing run towards the left-hand side, 30 metres away from Hull's line. They've had a lot of possession and position at Warrington. Curry now driving it in again. Can't unwrap his arms from the tackle for a potential offload. Has to take the tackle 20 metres away, left of centre, to that right-hand side, and Drinkwater and Williams, and quick hands from Hill, but Clifford's defensive spot is good. Big crash tackle coming in to stop young James Harrison getting any further forward. 15 metres away, onto the field is Walker. Walker to Vaughan. Vaughan now ripping a hole again and very nearly getting through. Hull drag him down just a yard away. Last play, Walker throws it out to that right hand side. Williams tries a kick. Somehow, well, they don't get it back Hull. It goes back to Williams, but it's still the sixth tackle, the referee says. I thought that might have been played
back to one.
It is back to one. Yes, it is back to one. So Warrington with another set of 6, 10 metres out from this Hull line. 10 minutes of the half remaining. Clark again. Here's Bullock. Bullock just trying to push his way forward. Held up within the 10, 8 metres away. Walker to that right hand side, and Drinkwater with a dummy, but just runs into trouble. Some big muscular defence coming from Hull again. Walker's shouting the odds from dummy half before he picks it up, and this is Clark, and Clark to Williams, and Williams to Curry, the left second rower, and Curry tries to burst through on his own. Hull's defence is across to marshal that situation and snub it out, so Hull go back towards the centre of the field. Here's Vaughan with a big push, defenders on him, 2 of them, but he's pushing and eventually has to yield and loses his footing, and he's stopped a couple of yards out. Walker tries a little grubber kick out of dummy half. It's dropped on back by Hull, and Hull have it back again and survive.
Yeah, not just survive, I thought they were dominant there. They didn't look like scoring Warrington on that occasion. You know, now they just need to give themselves a break, rip through this set, get to a kick and try and change the momentum or the territory in this game, because everything has been in Hull FC's half and on their line.
Well, it's Hull who have possession at the moment. Griffin climbing to his feet 15 metres out from his own line. They're just trying to blast their way forward here, Hull FC, at the moment. They've had the one attack, really, haven't they? A couple of minutes inside the Warrington half in this game. 32 minutes played, and they've only had a very short spell in the Warrington half, but they have scored a try, so that will give them plenty of hope. Here is a kick from Truman, up in the air. Ashton pouches it safely enough, 10 from his own line, no real pressure, and just totters back again, stepping off his both feet, stepping right, stepping left, but Hull in to make the tackle. Kept round with us.
And it's Warrington now, Woods. You look like they're just, you know, struggling for the energy. Darryl Clark, who's playing at loose forward now, probably because of the injury to Joe Philbin. Danny Walker's been brought on, and he normally interchanges. And Paul Vaughan and Darryl Clark are only just getting back into this line, so I think they're feeling the pinch, even though they have had all the possession.
Here's Ratchford, 40 metres out from his own line, tries to just cut his way through the whole advancing defenders, but no way through. This is Clark now. Clark with a little dummy, and he's found a bit of space in which to run, and he's got support from Drinkwater. Drinkwater had Walker in support as well. The pass is thrown away, it's knocked forward, there's a whole man offside, so it's going to be a penalty here for Warrington. The ball flew in the air, and it's given it as an accidental offside, so it's a head and feed for Warrington instead, 25 metres out.
And put that down as a try saver. Texoy, he gets in between Drinkwater and Walker and knocks the ball up, and if it wasn't for that hand there, that's a try straight under the sticks. So it was brilliant play by Darryl Clark. He just put the left step on, and that's where we know he's at his best, when he's taking on the line. He runs, steps to the defender and puts the guy through, and Drinkwater just couldn't find the pass. But they've got a big job again, once again defending their own line.
7 minutes of the half remaining, just under. Warrington 12, Hull 6, but Warrington again in a prime position. Dufty on that far side. He's tackled 15 metres from the whole line. Wrestled to the ground. Things slowed up a little. Dufty now. Walker out of dummy half. Left to Williams. Here's Bullock. Bullock comes in, but again Hull defending well at the moment. Coming out. Real muscular stuff once more. Here's Clark, who's going to have a go. Just runs straight at the advancing Hull defensive line. No way through. Walker's having a look around. Where's he going to go? Picks it up. Drinkwater to Williams to Curry. Curry on the left hand side. Ratchford the centre. The left centre's trying to squeeze through, but the hole's not big enough, and he's stopped. Williams again now up to the line. Short pass to Vaughan. Vaughan tries to just dive through those advancing defenders. 5 gone. Here comes the last play. Drinkwater on the left foot, dabs it into the in-goal area. Wonderfully flighted kick from him. Sutcliffe dives back and knocks it out of play, and Hull concede a dropout underneath the sticks.
Yeah, and it looks like the dam's about to burst. There's been so much pressure. That's a beautiful kick at the end of the set, and that's what Josh Drinkwater brings to this side. He brings a calmness, the balance. We've already spoke about the balance in Hull FC, but George Williams, a maverick, he likes to play what he sees, and then the calmness from Drinkwater at the end of the set buys him another set of 6.
Well, it'll be exhausting here from Hull. They've had to do a lot of defending. They'll have to do some more there, although Sutcliffe's trying to steal the ball. Minikin's caught it for Warrington, and he does keep a hold of it, but Warrington have it back again, 35 metres out, and there's another wave of attack now as Bullock tries to skip through. And Hull defending very often standing on their own line, and certainly not a lot of times too far beyond their own line. Another set of 6 again here, so Warrington with loads of tackles in the bag. Clark's put down on tackle 1, 15 metres out. Walker goes out to that right hand side. Drinkwater opposite back. Harrison's coming in on that angled run, right to left. He's knocked it on, and down on the bench there a couple of the Hull backroom staff just punching the air. Scott Taylor comes out and applauds, because I think he knows how important that is, that Hull have survived that.
Well, this game, we saw two one-way games today before this game, and I believe it's very, very similar. It's not on the scoreboard because the defence on the try line has been so good from Hull. If they can replicate that energy when they're carrying the ball and just be a little bit more respectful and keep hold of it, get behind a kicking game, then they're banging this game. But I think they'll be the happier out of the two if they can go in at half-time only trailing by 6 points.
So Hull back in possession, and here comes Swift. And Swift's tackled 15 metres out from his own line. It's a respite set, this, isn't it? Hull just needing to get downfield as quickly as possible, as far as possible, and then put a big kick on the back of it. But just keeping hold of the ball is a way for them to get some energy replenished. Out of dummy half by Houghton, and Hull again just trying to eat up the yards if they can. 4 tackles gone at 2 to go. Houghton from Satai puts it back into the middle, and Truman now throws it to that left hand side. Little dummy shown by Clifford, and then he drops his right shoulder and carries it almost up to the halfway line. That's the 5th. Here comes the last. Griffin looks to the left hand side, and Hoy just hits the ball low and hard. It bounces out of play. Warrington will get it back about 50 metres inside their own half.
Yeah, and that's the byproduct of doing so much defence. When they looked to shift the ball, you could clearly see there was no sting in that attack. There was no energy. You know, and just before half-time, they're probably desperate for this hooter. I think there's 3 minutes to go. They're desperate for this hooter now, and not to concede any more points because they're out on the feet. Because I reckon it's been probably 3-1 territory-wise and possession-wise in Warrington's favour.
Here's Minikin for Warrington as they try to get themselves back inside their opponent's half. Tackle 1 put down, 12 away from the halfway line. Walker out of dummy half. Clark helps it on its way. Here's the stepper, Matty Ashton. But Hull's defence closes in. Savelio started the game on the bench. He's been out in the field for quite a while now. And Warrington almost up to the halfway line when that tackle comes in. Walker's at dummy half. Picks up, delivers a pass to Vaughan to Williams now. They're trying to create some space here for Ashton on this left hand side, but Ashton's dragged towards the touchline, so he tries to offload. Truman has it, and Truman has it back. Hull have it back just short of the halfway line.
Well, Jake Truman's just shown that character to get on the ball and fight for everything, and that was great defence. They're going to finish this half with a chance to get a penalty now, Woodsy. They'll kick this ball into the touch, and they'll have a full set of 6 on this try line for only the second time in the competition, in the game. Yeah. I mean, they scored the first one, and here they are again. I tell you how much a blow this would be if Hull were to sneak a try back here. How damaging that would be from Warrington's point of view, who've dominated, but only lead 12-6, and Hull now have an opportunity, driving it in. 1:26 of the half remaining, so they'll get a chance to use all the tackles in this set, you would have thought. Saar picks up, plays it, Houghton, Truman back to Savelio skipping back towards the middle. He's looking for Walker to try and push him off, and then he gets a bit of help, does Danny Walker, with more of his teammates surrounding Savelio and putting him down 5 metres out from that Warrington line. Picked up by Houghton, no look pass from him. The big surge by Jordan Lane. Lane's over, but he's held up. He's not going to touch it down, and so they go back 10 metres to play it again. 50 seconds to go, so they've still got about, I think, is it 3 tackles left in this set. They should still get through all of those if they need them. Big throw back towards the middle. Clifford on that left hand side. Hoy, Griffin was running close to him on that left hand side, so he has to step back in, otherwise it would have been an obstruction. 10 metres out, Clifford picks it up. Big effort again from Satai offloads, back it comes. Lane to Clifford to Griffin, and Griffin now goes searching and puts a big boot on that. I think he's overcooked it. He has. The ball rolls out of play, so Warrington will have the ball back. 15 seconds of the half remaining. A quick tap here from Stefan Ratchford on the halfway line. Greg Minikin will take it on. Minikin is tackled. Is he going to be able to play the ball before the hooter sounds? 3 seconds. He's not up yet. It's a penalty for Warrington, 30 metres out. There's a hooter, but Warrington here get a chance to kick it out of play, and maybe they'll either drop a goal or put a kick up. And you know, you've got to say they brought it on themselves there, Hull FC. Firstly by the brain explosion by, that's a great kick.
What a huge kick from Drinkwater.
You'd expect a drop goal effort I think that's what George Williams will plan for here.
20 metres out from the tap restart. This is the last play of the half. It's thrown back to Williams. Williams just tried the drop kick. It's a shocker. It just balloons up in the air, and it's Hull who have it back again, and the tackle is going to come in on Adam Swift, and that's the way it is at half-time. Warrington leading by 12 points to 6. Kevin Brown. Yeah,
and I'm just looked at both coaches, and both coaches shaking their heads. So Darryl Powell's just walked in. I think he's probably disappointed that they're not up by more. And Tony Smith's probably just disappointed by the end of the half there, how they give him an opportunity to score more points. But overall, I think Warrington have been very, very dominant. But Hull FC have shown a lot of grit there and a lot of character to stay in this game. They'll be very confident that if they can, keep hold of the ball in the second half with that defensive ability to keep Warrington out, then they'll have a real good chance of winning this game.
Well, we've got loads of people running onto the field for some half-time activity here, some impromptu games of tap rugby league or tag rugby league. I don't know what's going on here, but it's going to be a well-populated pitch at half-time. But half-time, it's Warrington 12, Hull 6.
You're listening to Rugby League
on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra.
So full second half commentary to come. First a reminder, you can watch the highlights from all the games taking place at Magic Weekend on the Super League show. It'll be on the BBC iPlayer from 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, Monday evening. For the more traditional viewers, the programme is broadcast on BBC One at 10:40pm on Monday and repeated on Tuesday lunchtime at 1 o'clock on BBC Two. And as we say every week, the latest 5 Live Rugby League podcast available to download and listen to from BBC Sounds as well. On this week's episode, myself and Kev were joined by the Salford and England hooker Andy Ackers, who has described his somewhat circuitous route into Super League.
I started playing when I was like 11 or 12 year old, and I didn't really enjoy it back then. I just played probably because of my dad. I just wanted to be a young lad and go and play with my mates, obviously on the estate and stuff. But I felt a little bit too much pressure because obviously I wasn't enjoying it, off my dad, and because he was a big fan of rugby league, and I just stopped playing when I was about 14, 15, and obviously when I left school and stuff like that, I gave it another go, and it just happened so quick, really. I only played a handful of amateur games, and then I met a bloke called Carl Briscoe and Barry Taylor down at Inley when I went playing down at Inley, and they just put me straight into the Wigan system. Obviously I had a word with Matty Peake because he was the coach then, and I played under him, and I played 12 months there in the academy, and unfortunately I got let go, and it really hurt my feelings and stuff, because obviously being a Wigan fan as a kid and a Wigan lad at heart, I just wanted to play for Wigan. So obviously, like, one door closes, another one opens, and I went to Warrington then off the back of that, and I had a couple of years there. I didn't make a Super League debut or anything like that. I was on loan the majority of the time to Swinton Lions because they was the feeder club. And then I played a year there, and I went down to Broncos, which was really good. It's been a good journey. But yeah, as a kid coming through and stuff like that, I wasn't really enjoying it. That's why I did pack it in. But looking back then, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I probably shouldn't have packed it in. I should have carried on, because I never really got the opportunity to play scholarships or academy. And that's a big footing for a young kid, obviously, because you get to learn quite a bit off the former professionals and the professional coaches back then, and I didn't really have that. I took it my own way, really, and adapted quick.
Yeah. So when I mean, Wigan, you're in the Wigan Academy. When they tell you you're being let go, I mean, that's a big, as you said, big deal for a young kid at that stage. How do they tell you that? Do they do it in a kind of an empathetic manner? Do they take you into a room, or is it quite brutal?
No, it wasn't brutal. Obviously, when I was at the Wigan Academy, I've always been a hooker, and I was playing more of a loose forward role because they'd signed 2 younger players who was a couple of years younger than me, and Callum Wright and Jamie Doran, I think it was, and they was playing hooker. I don't know if they're playing now, but they'd obviously invested the contracts into them, and I went down on terms and conditions. I wasn't contracted with them. So obviously, Matty Peake pulled me to a side, and we went into a room, and John Winder, I think it was, and they just explained to it that the systems were changing. It was going to under-19s, and I think I was a bit older for that, and they wasn't keeping the 20s. But if they was keeping the 20s, I think they explained that they would have kept me on. and then I could have obviously, because I don't think back then obviously I was ready for a first team contract. I know I wasn't, to be honest with you, looking back. So yeah, it was just unfortunate for me, and obviously it was a tough conversation, and I've always got on with Matty ever since, and I speak to Matty obviously when I see him and stuff. But yeah, it was just one of them wounds to the heart back then.
Yeah, and Kev, I mean, obviously Andy signs up with Warrington and carries on a career that turns into a stellar career. There'd have been a lot of kids in that situation who'd have just lost heart there, wouldn't they? That is a problem with the system.
To him, at what point did you think, I'm going to keep going? Because I've seen lots of players leave Wigan, especially when they've not played first team. They go on to somewhere else, or they just completely leave the game. But then to get the rejection again at Warrington, I think it just shows the resilience that Andy's got. And it's a real good story to young players coming through now. It's just opinions. It's one person's opinion, and it can be circumstantial as well with the age. And I think that's something that a lot of players who are 18, 19 now are getting let go because they've not cracked it at that age, and the reserve grade's not as strong as it used to be. So Andy's story, similar to Tyler Dupree as well. They're two lads who have been let go, never played a Super League game for the team that they signed at, but then go on to become international. So I think resilience, and it's a testament to Andy that he stuck at it, because, you know, the rejection at that young age, you know, and then going working on the building site and working at Swinton, you know, in hindsight, that might have done you a world of good, you know, rather than just getting it easy at the beginning, because if you didn't love the game, you would have packed it in then, wouldn't you?
Do you agree with that? Has that made you a better player because of that early rejection you got?
100%. Yeah, I knew before I went down to Wigan Warriors, I changed my mindset back then, and I knew some things what I was doing back then as a kid had to stop, and I had to stop hanging around with certain people, certain individuals, which I'm still friends with now. Don't get me wrong, but I was more involved with them back then than I am now, and I knew I had to cut people off, and just. I was just highly motivated back then. I'm still highly motivated now, but I was more highly motivated back then because I knew where I was then, and I had a goal where I actually wanted to be. And as soon as I got that taste of professional environments when I went down to Wigan, it was just like an addiction back then. So I was just like, I think it might have been like a bit of an ego thing. Obviously, looking back now, like once I did get let go, it made me even hungrier. And when I went to Warrington and it replicated again, it made me even hungrier again. And that was even if it was I had to take a step back and go down to League One, which I played. I knew that I was going to get there because of my determination and my dedication to it, because I was always dedicated to it, right? And, you know, I did all the right things outside of rugby, and any opportunity that I got, I was taking it.
So even when you're playing part-time at Swinton and working on the building sites to get your income there, you still believe that you could be an England international one day at that stage?
I probably wasn't thinking England international back then, but I just wanted to play Super League. I know it come really late for me playing Super League. I think I was 26, but I just knew I wanted to play Super League, and I had quite a few offers to go Super League a lot earlier, but it was just the timing wasn't right. And obviously being at London, I was enjoying it at London, and then when I went to Toronto, I played there for a few years, and I was enjoying it there. And I think this way around that I went, I think obviously it's more beneficial. There's a story behind it, there's adversity behind it, and a lot of young kids can take inspiration from it. And it's something that I'm really proud of. And obviously, as Kev says, and we've had emotional chats, and it is a story, and he speaks about his son. I don't think Harry will go that way around because he's something special, but yeah, I probably didn't have that talent back then, and I've learned, and I'm like a sponge really, and if it's something that really clicks and something that I really enjoy doing, then it just sinks into me, and it's something that I'll come home and I'll practice, and I'll be obsessed over it. And as Kev will probably tell you, that I probably get a bit too obsessed and I start worrying a bit about it. But I've changed my mindset on things now, where I enjoy doing what I'm good at. I don't really focus what I'm not really good at. So at
what point, Andy, did you think I can be an international?
probably when I signed at Salford, and you took me to a side, and you was like, you're gonna go all the way. And obviously we played that year and a half with each other, didn't we? And I just changed my belief, started believing in myself, really. And I got the opportunity to have more game time and stuff, and the confidence that's been put into me. Paul Rowley's been massive as well. Rolls has been really good with me. He's given me the opportunities and the confidence to play, and I just started to believe in myself, really, mate, and just started to take advice off people like yourself, and it's just took off from there. It's a phenomenal feeling, obviously, being selected for your country. That's a moment I'll never forget in my career. It was really good. I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the whole camp of it, and it's something that I'm really working towards again.
You seem really emotional. I mean, we got to speak to you around that time before the game and after the game. You seem really emotional ahead of that World Cup.
Yeah, I was really emotional. I'm an emotional person, as Kev will tell you. My whole life's been based on emotions, really. It's something that I'm only just learning about now. Being selected for your country, I don't think you can really get better than that. There's trophies that you can win, Super League and stuff like that, but representing your country is the pinnacle of your career. When you pull that England jersey on and you're singing that national anthem, it's something really special.
And you've both got, I mean, Harry, we've seen plenty of Harry on social media. Kev, a very proud dad, and quite rightly so, because some of the stuff that we see on social media is fantastic. A little bit older than Reid, obviously. Harry wants to be a rugby league player. If Reid wants to be a rugby league player, what do you both say to your kids? What advice do you give to your kids at this stage?
Well, I'll go first on that one. I think it's just to have fun. Well, there's another great story in Ackers there where he was pressured into it 10 or 11 by his dad, and he sort of took the love out of it, and it wasn't for him he was doing it for. So I would hate for my child to go, there's pressure on me to be a rugby player because my dad played rugby and he's pushing me into rugby. If Harry came home and said, look, Dad, I want to be a dancer, or I want to play basketball, then as long as he's having fun and enjoying what he's doing and actually do your best at what you're going to do, then I'm an happy man. At this moment in time, it's rugby and football. He loves it and he tries his best and he gets enjoyment out of it. So if he's happy, then as his dad, I'm happy.
Yeah, and as a 3-year-old, I mean, he's not going to express, is he? Your boy, and he's not going to be expressing that I want to be a rugby player. But when that becomes something, when he starts talking about what he wants to do, from your experience, how would you handle that?
Like Kev just said, I'll replicate that. Whatever they want to do, I'll back him. Whatever he wants to do, and I'm not even going to pressure him into playing rugby. I'll take him to all different kind of sports, and I'll just back him in whatever he wants to do. But if the moment he says he doesn't want to do it, I won't force him to do it. Which sometimes I think, looking back, I remember that car journey on way home with my dad. If I've not had a good game, or I've not even got too involved for Goulburn Parkside, that car journey, you could just sense the animosity. You knew you was getting a grilling when you got home, and you weren't doing things good enough and stuff, which is not really good for a kid, because it can either force you to go two ways. And it sent me the other way, really, because obviously back then, probably being low on confidence and not as good as the other kids, probably just needed that arm around you and just go, right, listen, if you want to play and you want to do it. And then I probably would have just changed my mindset, and then I would have wanted to play, but obviously I packed it in, and it's something that I do regret early on in my career, because I could have played Super League a lot earlier, but this road I've chosen it's been a good journey.
You're listening to Rugby League
on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra.
There you go. Good to have Andy with us this last week on the podcast. You can download and listen to all of that if you like. If you're travelling home from Magic at the moment, then, well, I was going to say you could listen to it, but you could also listen to the second half commentary of Warrington against Hull, which is probably preferably, from our listening figures point of view. Anyway, half-time, Warrington 12, Hull 6 is the scoreline. Next podcast out very soon next week. We will be rounding up Magic, but also talking about the future of Magic, future of the game, with Rodri Jones as well on the podcast this coming week. So that's worth a listen as well. Sun's still out at Newcastle. I think we'll be driving home in sunshine tonight, Kev, won't we? It'll be very pleasant. What about this game? Warrington dominated that first half and are only leading by 12 points to 6.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing in this game, that they have been dominant, and how much energy has it taken out of Hull FC? Because if they can replicate that defensive display. That try-line defence was as good as anyone's this year, but then they just need to be a bit better with the ball, and if they can do that, they can really threaten Warrington. Because we've already seen when they was up there, they've been up there twice and they've come away with a try already. So this game's still wide open. Warrington, there's been an injury to the pack, so I think they'll be, running low on energy in the middle of the field, and I think it's up to Hull FC to make sure they respect this ball and give themselves a chance of competing at the other end of the field rather than relying on the defence.
Well, the two teams are coming out here for the second half. If you missed it, the story of the first half, Conor Wrench, after only 3 minutes after that long injury absence, with the Williams chip to the corner, Wrench up he got, down he came, ball in hand, scored. Ratchford added the 2. 6-0, George Williams. After Truman had dropped the ball in the centre of the field, Williams just whisked it up and raced away, and Ratchford kicked that goal as well to make it 12-0. But then from the restart, the high spiral bomb that came down in Hull's favour, Hull got it back again, 30 metres away from the line, in fact 20 metres away from the line. Danny Houghton at the end of a set managing to get over from a kick, and Clifford kicked the goal. So 12-6. We saw a lot of Warrington attack after that, but Hull's defence has been pretty tenacious, and it means that's why it is still only 12-6. Last point scored in the 16th minute, so 24 scoreless minutes at the end of that first half. We're about to get the second half underway. Referee Jack Smith just being told you can start it whenever you like, so he's passed that message on to Jake Clifford. And how do we see this second half going, Kev Brown?
Well, I think it'll be pretty different. I don't think Hull FC will be able to.
That's another brilliant kickoff. He's been practicing that, Clifford, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's a great tool. That's not a short kickoff, is it? That's a kickoff that demands being dealt with, and if it doesn't get dealt with, this is the result. And now if Hull FC, Dave, can score from this, then that will change the game.
Yeah, so Hull FC kicking off and getting the ball back because of the flight of it, and here's Hoy, and Hoy's only going to be held up 15 metres out, and you mentioned it in the first half, Pat Richards-esque with those kickoffs, that high swivelling ball as it goes up, but Hull have it back as they did from the kickoff midway through the first half after they conceded a try. Here's Danny Houghton, 5 metres out, swayed right, goes left. Griffin with a big bolt that he's had, twists over the line, and I think the referee might have been mindful to say he was held up, but then realised there's a bit of technology in place. Let's have a look. So he says no try, he sent it up as no try, but we're going to have a video look at this less than a minute into the second half.
Yeah, and he seems pretty confident. It didn't look like he'd scored the try, but they're all walking away like he has. I don't know whether they're good at trying to sell it, but for me it looked like I think it was James Harrison who got under the ball and kept him up.
Josh Griffin swivelling around. We've seen a couple of replays. We've not seen anything that would suggest the video referee has enough evidence to say, yeah, this is definitely a try. Griffin has put a big grin on as he's twisting over there. He thinks he's got it down. Well, the Hull supporters underneath that big screen at the Lees' end of the field, listen to that, they are convinced.
I think it's a giant bluff. I think they've all said, let's cheer this. I can't see the ball touching the floor there, can you, Dave?
No, they keep cheering at the same point and we can't see the ball.
And now Josh Griffin, after the cheer, he's decided to bluff again and give high fives about, but I don't think that's a try.
No, I don't think he can give it. Here we go. Decision pending. Where's he going to go? No try, yeah. No try. The rest of the crowd cheers. Warrington fans especially, in relief. So he's held up. They've still got a couple of plays left here. They're back on the 10-metre mark to play the ball, so it's not over yet from Warrington's defensive point of view, because Hull are going to come again here. Savelio very nearly up to the line. He's tackled only a couple of yards short, and the referee says that was the 6th. So it's a handover. But what a start to the second half by Hull there.
What a start. And they didn't only get the ball and have a patient set. They looked very dangerous. They looked more dangerous than Warrington did in the majority of their raids on their other try line in the first half. So great start for Hull FC. It's just really important that they back that up with a yardage defence now.
Warrington trying to come forward. Here's Vaughan for them, who twists in the tackle. Who's that stayed down? Is it Lane who's stayed down? injured for Hull. Meantime, Williams tries a kick. It ricochets against an oncoming Warrington player. Drinkwater gets back to pick it up not far from where Lane's been treated. And Warrington back in possession. I'm surprised the referee's not stopped the game here because...
well, the doctor's not on the field. As soon as the doctor comes on the field, it's not the game.
Now he's on. So the referee does stop it. But even without the doctor, the player being treated was in danger of being in the middle of the game.
Well, there was a period that Josh Drinkwater, he was playing Ringa Roses with the two physios and the injured player, and I think it was Andrea Cervello was chasing him. So yeah, that's another head knock, and it's Jordan Lane this time. He'll definitely have to come from the field and get assessed, I'm sure.
Well, he's standing up, he's on his feet. We've seen a lot, We've seen 2 or 3 injuries, haven't we, over the 2 days? A couple of lengthy stoppages in games yesterday and today. Jordan Lane is just holding the side of his face. He's not walking well, but he is walking. He's
and when you talk
hobbling.
about concussions, I think everyone's on about lowering the height of the tackle, and Jordan Lane was actually tackling and he went round the legs, and this is the danger. When you lower it too much, you're going around hips and elbows and knees, and on that occasion he got it completely wrong, and we can see clearly that he's marked up on the right side of his face and his ear. Yeah. And I'm sure he'll sit the rest of this game out there.
Yeah, he's off. He's not looking great. Looking very groggy as he walks off. Play continues. Kick downfield by Warrington from Drinkwater, and Warrington Hull have it back in the shape of Texoy, who runs it back to his 13-metre mark inside his own half. Hull 6, Warrington 12.
Yeah, and this is a better start again from Hull FC, just moving the ball and clearing the lines easy. They're over the 40 metres on the first tackle with Adam Smith, and now it's McIntosh. And I just think if they can start getting over this halfway line a little bit more consistent, instead of doing the one-out carries that we're seeing, they can start moving the ball and get Jake Truman with the ball in his hands.
Satai pushes forward inside the 40, inside the Warrington half. Out now to dummy half. Left to Fash to Griffin. Griffin steps back in again. Little angle back towards the centre of the field, but then he's carrying it well. And the ball comes free, and it's dropped on, and it's another set of 6. There's a Warrington hand on that, and Houghton got it back. There's a kick towards the in-goal area. That was brave stuff from Clifford, and it's paid off because Adam Swift's on the end of it. Touches down. The referee is going to the video again here. He thinks try on the field, but that was the first play in a new set, and Clifford has gone for gold, and he might just come up trumps here.
Well, that's the sign of a Tony Smith coach side. That is the ultimate gamble on the first tackle in the 20-metre area. Clifford sees some space, and it's Swift who's just got the presence of mind to sprint after this ball. He's got an awful lot to do to finish it. I think that's a try, and what a start. You asked me before, how do we see this half going, and it started completely different. This game has spun on its head. The complete dominance that Warrington Wolves had in the first half has been reversed, and I think there'll be a kick to come here from Clifford to make the scores level, Dave.
Yeah, I don't think it's the actual scoring of the try that they're looking at. I think they're looking at the way the ball, well, they are now looking at the grounding, but the way the ball came free there. The referee waved another set of 6. Adam Smith took it down. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is going to be a try, and as you say, 12-10 with a kick to make it level. Here we go. Hull fans, what are you saying? What are you saying? Do you like it? Hull fans, they like it. Try given. Adam Smith the scorer, and full marks to Hull FC for the way they've started this second half.
Yeah, and I didn't realise there was as many Hull FC fans in here up until now. The party started, and Warrington Wolves are going to have to get the dominance twice and almost win this game twice, because they were that dominant in the first half. They should have scored probably 2 or 3 more tries. As it is, the level on terms of tries, and if he kicks this goal, then wow, I can't believe that the scores will be level.
So Clifford, about 6 inches in from the touchline, plants the ball down, steps back, has a look at the sticks. Ball sitting up on the tee. Clifford's taking his time, this to make it all level. Warrington standing in silence in the in-goal area. There's not much communication. I think they'll know the message. We're under pressure here, despite all our pressure in the first half. Clifford's kicked it. Has he got that? No, it's not. It just kind of slides beyond the far upright and goes wide. So 12-10, Warrington 12, Hull 10. And from the 16th minute in the first half, even before that, Warrington were dominant, really were dominant. But they weren't able to add to that lead they had. And Hull now are back within a whisker.
Yeah, there seems like there's a little bit of shock running through this Warrington team, and the trainers just give them a good jeering up before they kick this ball off, because he knows that the dominance has completely left, and Hull FC now have got the sails up and definitely coming home strong with 36 minutes or 35 minutes to play. This game's wide open.
Satai drives it in. I mean, we talked to Tony Smith before the game. He's not one to get overexcited or under-encouraged, is he? Penalty here for Hull. When they were on that 7-match losing run, he was just saying, things will change. And now they're on a bit of a winning run. He's not saying, we're the perfect team. Yeah, things are improving. We've still got a long way to go. But he'll be very encouraged by what he's seen from his side here today.
Oh, he will. And, after that try there, I think everyone in the stadium, apart from Tony Smith, was saying it's the first tackle. But Tony Smith always backs the players to play what they see. And that's when Clifford's on fire. And, I think Jake Troom has been quite quiet today, but expect him to come alive in the last 30 or so minutes as he starts to get some play the balls and some territory in this Warrington half.
Lingy Sau driving it in, second tackle, and he's tackled 40 metres out from the Warrington line. This now is Brad Fash. Hull have got a real determination and a spirit about them at the moment. Going forward, it's Clifford back to Sau. Sau now carries it in. 3 Warrington defenders holding him up, twisting him around, putting him down on the ground eventually, slowing things down. Houghton collects, goes scooting forward again. He fancies a run here, runs into the unwelcoming arms of Joe Bullock, who stops him in his tracks. 5 away from that Warrington line again. Truman spins it to Clifford, Clifford to Griffin. Griffin skips through a big hole in the Warrington defence, and Griffin has scored Hull's second try in the space of just a few minutes. And Hull FC, who looked not down and out, but certainly second best by a distance for spells in that first half, now find themselves in the lead with 6.5 minutes of the second half play.
Well, that's great play. Josh Griffin was held up about 10 minutes ago, but there was no chance he was going to be held up there. Max Clifford has just created another try, and this time it's to Josh Griffin. He just drives at the line and puts a lot of pressure on. It's Josh Drinkwater who shoots out the line, and Griffin just bangs a great line as a back rower and scores a try in front of the Hull faithful. And now they are in front, 14-12, and you would say he's kicked this goal. And when we said the ascendancy was with Warrington, well, it's completely flipped, and the dominance now is from Hull FC. They can't stop this wave, Warrington, and they need to.
Well, we looked at all 6 games before the match, before the weekend began, and thought, which one's going to be the classic? We've seen some good games. This could be the classic.
Well, so far it's been a classic, Dave, and the way the game's been swinging from one team to another, you wouldn't bet against Warrington coming back and having a purple patch of their own. This game's still wide open, but Warrington just need to calm down and stop giving penalties away when they've not got the ball. Defensively, they're just getting run over, and it was Andre Savelio who challenged Warrington and won that penalty to set up this position.
It's the black and whites who are rejoicing in the home of the black and whites. The early birds at the home of the Magpies have extended their lead because Clifford has kicked the goal. 12 points to Warrington, but now 16 for Hull FC. They've got their noses in front, and now it's Warrington who need to respond here.
Yeah, they need to respond, and they don't need to go and do anything silly and try and do it on their own. They just need to defend the set, calm it down a little bit, and just get the ball back and stop this momentum, because it's almost like a juggernaut. And the juggernaut that we saw in the first half didn't produce points, but Hull FC are scoring tries at will in this second half.
And it all came from the kickoff, didn't it? All from that kickoff.
Yeah, and that's the second time in the game that the kickoffs cause problems.
Well, there's many different aspects to this game of rugby league, many different skills for players to perfect, and the kickoff from Clifford twice has had a big impact now on this match. Hull coming forward again. 30 metres away from their own line. Listen to the noise provided by the Hull FC fans here as Brad Fash goes bruisingly forward again, 8 short of the halfway line. Satai now will take it up. Harrison tries to get in his way, grabs him by the hips, slows him down. 2 more teammates come in to complete the tackle. On the 6th, Hull are inside the Warrington half. Clifford puts it up in the air. Dufty watches it, the ooze of the Hull fans, but he's caught it safely. Closed down by Hoy quickly. Warrington start 10 metres from their own line.
Yeah, and interestingly now, look at the Warrington pack. There's 4 of them walking back. They look out on the feet, and there's still 30 minutes to play in this. And the bench, there isn't much bench now for Warrington. There's a young player who's played very few games for Warrington in Lucas Green. There's a busted Joe Philbin, and then Bullock's ready to come on. But I think Warrington are really struggling in the middle third of the field, and that's where Hull FC seem to be going after him.
And here comes Walker out of dummy half with a kick. He's aiming for a 40-20. It's not going to bounce to touch. Swift gets back. The bounce is just a little awkward, but he corrects himself quickly and picks up possession and almost makes a break, but Conor Wrench grabs a hold of his shorts and drags him down. This now is Sutcliffe, Liam Sutcliffe, the much improved, just inside the Warrington half. 2 tackles gone. Hull are streaming forward again here. Now it's taken on by McIntosh. McIntosh gets a pass away. Savelio goes bouncing in. 30 metres out his tackle, but they've covered some distance already in this set of Hull. 3 tackles gone, 3 to go. Make that 2 to go as they find themselves on the 20-metre mark, right of centre. Half an hour of the match remaining. Scott gets up and plays it. Now it's with Satai. Satai tries to burst his way through, offloads it back again to Truman. Truman to that right-hand side. Savelio shows the ball, then passes it. Here comes Scott. Scott now running towards the right corner, put down 8 metres out, close to the touchline. Is this the 6th tackle? It's put up in the air by Truman, and it's going to be caught, and it's Griffin again. Griffin's on the end of it again, and those Hull FC supporters are in clover, bouncing up and down. Can't believe the turnaround they're seeing here. 3 smart quick-fire tries in the space of just about 5 minutes in this second half, and their team not only have the lead, they now have a telling lead.
And I don't know what it was in the water for Hull FC at half-time or what Tony Smith said to the players, but they look a stone heavier, they look a yard quicker, and everything they're doing now is just resulting in points. It was a great kick by Jake Truman, but the ease that Hull FC marched Warrington Wolves up the field there. It started with Adam Swift's run. He almost broke through the line, and then from that play they just carried the ball and carried Warrington Wolves onto their own line. And if there was a heat map on this grass at the moment, the full first half was played to our left, and now all the second half's being played down there. I don't know if there is a slope, but if it is, I think it's going that way.
I think the slope's going the other way, actually. If you missed it, I think Ian Watson saying that that was one of the reasons his side lost it. I didn't hear the quotes, so it'd be unfair to comment on those, but there was a remark made about the slope here. I think there is a slope, and you pointed out that you scored 3 tries towards the Gallagher end, so it must be going that way, Kev, for you to score 3 tries that way. Anyway, back on the game. 12 minutes of the second half played. What a turnaround. 12-6 for Warrington at half-time. It could be 22-12 for Hull here in just a moment as Clifford sets himself, readies himself for this conversion attempt. Here he comes, his boot. Oh, he's hit the post. Hit the post and bounces wide. So 12 for Warrington, 20 for Hull FC. They'd have taken that at half-time, they really would. Gareth Ellis is coming off the field here. Not sure why he was on there, Gareth Ellis. There's some chat between him and Jason, the S&C fella for Hull. And they're looking up behind us towards the coaches. I don't know if they've got a concern about somebody's fitness out there, I'm not sure, but they don't have too many concerns about the way the game's going at the moment, Kev Brown.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit concerned. Jason Davidson down there now, he's talking to Tony Smith, so I'm not sure who is carrying the injury. I'm sure that they're hoping that all them players on the field at the minute can stay, because the momentum that they've got is brilliant. And Warrington have just thrown Matauchi and Dudson on, but he's just made 6 tackle busts off the kickoff.
Most of them he was going laterally, wasn't he? But he really flew into that. and Hull FC in possession inside their own 20 at the moment. I mean, Warrington have got to calm things down here, haven't they? They've got to calm their opponents down.
They have, and how to calm them down is winning this physical battle, because at the minute they're just pushing back every single time. Warrington's defenders, they look dominant when they're carrying the ball, and I'm sure the fatigue that they're running through this side now is really going to take effect at the end of this game.
63,269 here over the weekend. Last year it was 62,154, so a slight increase, not a massive increase. Hull have lost the ball 5 metres short of the halfway line. Lingy Sao has lost it, and Warrington will get the ball back, and boy do they need this now.
Yeah, that was the bit of fortune that they needed just to stop that momentum, because everything that Hull FC have done in this first 14 minutes in the second half has just been magnificent. Warrington don't need to score here, and I'm pretty sure that they'll know that. The message will go on from Warrington just to play down here, try and be patient, do what you did in the first half, get behind your kicking game. If you don't score, try and get a repeat set, but just take the sting out of this Hull FC side.
So Warrington, and now Williams has lost it, but it's gone backwards and it came off a Hull hand, so for what it's worth it's another set of 6, but he's flicked it backwards and Curry has to scurry back to pick that up. So Warrington still have possession, and Minikin slips over when he's passed the ball, so they lost about 10 metres, but they have not wasted a tackle, because there was a whole such in there, so it's back to 0, and here's Harrison pushing forward 5 metres short of the halfway line.
Well, when I said they'll get the message on that they don't need to panic and they can just be patient, I don't think George Williams quite got the memo there, because he ran backwards and flicked the ball out, and they're only just back to where the scrum was on tackle 3.
Walker picks up inside for Dudson, Gil Dudson, the Welshman. 15 inside the whole half. Walker again spins it right to Drinkwater. Drinkwater flashes it across to Minikin. Minikin tries to roll out of Sutcliffe's hands and does that and makes the break. Just a little slip from him makes him an easy tackle for Hoy, but only 10 metres out. Drinkwater to Williams, who came flying on, and I think Williams has got over the line and touched it down. The referee's having a look at his 2 touch judges and says no, but he's given a penalty for Warrington. Well, right in front of the sticks.
2 things need to happen there. I thought George Williams had scored that try. His forwards need to run like that, and then the next thing is Greg Minikin needs to change his boots. That's probably the 3rd or 4th time he's slipped, and on that one I think if he doesn't slip he scores the try.
16 minutes of the second half gone. Hull 20, Warrington 12. It's Warrington in possession at the moment, still about 5 metres away as Harrison goes down with ball in hand. 5 metres away from that Hull line. Walker, the tide's been against them in this second half. They're looking to alter the flow if they can. Latortia tries to push himself through, bounces up. Here comes Walker. Walker with a short pass. Bullock charging in, held up, pushed back, still within sight of the line but not quite close enough. Underneath the sticks, Walker to Williams, and now it's with Dufty, and Dufty puts one over the top, and this is going to be a second try of the game for Connor Wrench. They got the extra man on the outside. The passing was clear and crisp, and Warrington have changed the direction of the game, because they have a score back. It's 16 points to 20.
Yeah, that was quality there. It was a quality ball by Matt Dufty, who's not had much clear passing in this game so far, but when he gets the opportunity, that was a brilliant pass. And Connor Wrench, a great finish too, but Warrington, that was crucial play that they stopped that momentum and they gave their fans something to cheer about. And this game, the ebbs and flows of this game has changed a few times. Really close. We're watching the replay there. His trailing leg almost drops onto the line there, Dave.
Yeah, when he'll look up at that, no, it was down safe enough, wasn't he, in the end? He was down safe enough. Ratchford with a conversion attempt here, and if he kicks this, we're back to within 2 points. It's 4 points at the moment, 16 points to 20. I say we, I mean the game as a whole is back. I'm not supporting one side or the other.
Yeah, we mentioned the goal-kicking ability of Steph Ratchford before, and how the difference can be when you knock your 4s into 6s, and I think Jake Clifford will be really disappointed that he hit the post on that last one, because that was a kick that 9 times out of 10 he put over and could be crucial come the end of the game.
22 minutes to play in this game. It's a good one. I mean, it's the best atmosphere we've had all weekend. It's not necessarily the biggest crowd we've got in here at the moment of the weekend, But it's the best atmosphere because of the thrilling nature of what we're watching at the moment. Ebbing and flowing. Ratchford conversion. Foot in from the right touchline. Steps back, referee waves time on again. Ratchford's kicked that well, and he just slides it in. It hits the post on the far side, but the inside of the post and slides over. Big kick from Stephen Ratchford. 3 out of 3 for him today. 18 points to Warrington, 20 for Hull, and we're back to really not knowing which way this game's going from here on in now.
Oh, it's brilliant. And you mentioned the noise, and the noise will go up now when Brad Dwyer carries the ball. He's just coming on the field for Danny Houghton, and there's one thing for sure: when Hull FC have the ball next, that Brad Dwyer will scoot and make this front row of Warrington accountable to tackle him.
So are we going to see another of those kickoffs here from Jake Clifford? Let's watch this one. We've seen a couple of absolute spiralling bombs from him. He'll be looking for something similar. Well, he has got the spiral. It's hanging in the air. Who knows where that's coming down. Wonderful catch from Matty Ashton on the far side.
There's something about the spiral kick off the tee which is so much harder to judge the flight of the kick and where the ball's going to go than when it's out of hand. But Matty Ashton there did fantastically well to pick the ball out and catch that ball.
And here he comes again. Second carry of this set. Third tackle from Warrington's point of view. Walker out of dummy half. Dudson drives it up to the halfway line. 2 tackles to go from Warrington. Walker looking left to Williams, who gets the ball back from Bullock. Little interchange of passes by those two, but Savalio's got a hold of Williams' hips, spins him round and puts him down. Now it's with Drinkwater. Drinkwater puts it high in the air. Hoy has a look, catches well, falls to the ground to avoid the runners coming at him, but has to take the tackle 10 metres out from his own line.
But it's a crazy thing to think that when you score points, the momentum of the game just switches. So it was a great set by Warrington, a brilliant kick, and now they're backing it up with the defence that we saw in the first half. So it's Warrington's turn to be in the ascendancy, and now it's Hull FC's turn to come off their own line.
Hull 20, Warrington 18. Great noise. Satai drives it forward. Good carry. Almost up to the 30-metre mark inside his own half. Now it's with Clifford, who punches the ball downfield off his right boot. The ball skips and bounds and bobbles away from Wrench, who's almost up to into his own in-goal area, but passes away in thrilling fashion to Dufty, and Dufty goes running across there, and Dufty's threatening to make the break, but then Savelio tackles him 10 metres from his own line, and Warrington are up quickly here. Ratchford, good carry by him. Ratchford back on the inside. Dufty's there in support. Dufty's got Williams up with him as well. Passes now, but Williams can't get it. He's dropped it in the tackle. Is that... who is Adam Swift? Williams just tracked stride for stride from Swift, and he made the tackle, and it's forced the ball out of Williams' hand, and Warrington looked like they were going to go left to right very quickly, but Hull will get the ball back now.
That was brilliant play all round. George Williams had no idea that Swift was tracking him. As soon as he caught the ball, the timing was impeccable from Swift. He hits him with a legal challenge, and when he hits the floor, but the counter play, first by Wrench and Dufty and then by Ratchford and Dufty, looked like it were going to put Salford in front again, but terrific scramble defence from Hull FC and Adam Swift.
19 minutes to go. It remains Warrington 18, Hull FC 20. Here's Sutcliffe up against Harrison. Harrison's put down 30 metres out. Here comes Swift, pushing it forward up towards the 40-metre mark. It's tight, it's tense, 19 minutes to play. Hull 20, Warrington 18. 3 tries in the opening 11 minutes of the second half had put Hull in the lead against the run of play from the first half, but Conor Wrench has gone one back for Warrington, so it's on a knife edge. It's Warrington 18, Hull 20, and we still have 18 and a half minutes to play. It's Sutcliffe in position here and possession, 30 metres out from that Warrington line. Clifford puts it up in the air, all caught superbly, wonderfully well, and the penalty goes Hull's way as well. Up went Brad Fash to catch that, and the referee has given Hull a penalty right in front of the sticks.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to take the two. They were the full bench was looking behind for Tony Smith's direction, but he didn't even set the bench on. I think he realised
it wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a ball steal, but Brad Fash did great there. You know, it was a two-man tackle on Fashion, and George Williams ripped the ball.
Didn't need to rip it, did they? That was a 6th tackle. They get the ball back.
Just hold on to him.
Taylor drives it in, 2 metres out. Now it's picked up by Dwyer, throws it back to Clifford. Inside comes Lane. Was that Lane? Can't be Lane. He went off a moment ago and looked dreadful. It is Lane. Jordan Lane is back on the field. Dwyer comes out. Now a short pass. Satai comes in hard, very close to the line. Struggling. It's Savelio, I do apologise. He gets up and plays it. Back it comes to Clifford. Clifford to Hoy. Hoy now to Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe steps inside a couple of tackles, but nobody close enough to offload. Drinkwater made sure of that. Now it's with Clifford again. Clifford dancing off both feet, just urging himself close to that line again. Just held up short. 1 play to go for Hull FC. They're almost on the whitewash. Dwyer's going to have a go himself. He's over the line and he's lost it in trying to get over there. Warrington will get it back. And there's just that in Dwyer's game, isn't there? A little bit of white line fever. Maybe the pass was required.
Yeah, and it did look on for a moment, but I think Warrington just coaxed him into running that ball. And then it was terrific defence by Danny Walker. Desperate defence by Danny Walker to not only stop him, but force the ball and a knock on there from Dwyer.
16 and a half minutes to play. Warrington back in possession. Where's this game going? The final act of this magic weekend, and they've saved the best till last. They really have. These two sides are giving us a thriller-minute contest at the moment. Motortia's put down midway inside his own half, slows it down. Walker picks up and goes to that left-hand side. Williams pass, looking to get the ball rolling forward again, but Curry's tackled fairly quickly. Bullock to Drinkwater. Here comes Harrison. Harrison wearing the number 8 on his back, but playing second row here this afternoon, this evening. It's Drinkwater, left-footed, slides it downfield. Oh, Hoy catches it on the half volley. That was a bit of a risk, but he's caught it, and he sidesteps forward, and he's away again, and gets the pass to Swift, and Swift hands it on to Griffin, and this is going to be a hat-trick, and that's going to be a sensational try for Hull FC. A second-half hat-trick for Josh Griffin on the end of something special. And Hull FC lead by 24 points to 18.
Well, we mentioned Greg Minikin's boots a while back, and it was when he was defending on that occasion, and Textor puts the right foot step on. Greg Minikin slips and he goes straight through. There's some passive interplay between the Hull FC players, and then Josh Griffin, who for a back rower, I think he's transitioned brilliantly from centre to back row, finishes off like he used to do in the centre, and scampers 40 metres to score a crucial try.
Well, he arrived at Hull FC as a black and white hero, didn't he, because of the part he played in Salford's last gasp, incredible, miraculous golden point survival against Hull Kingston Rovers all those years ago. That seems like an age ago now, doesn't it? But in this second half, he's certainly imprinting his name on this game with that hat-trick, but a lot of his teammates doing a lot of the great work to give him that opportunity. 14 minutes left to play. This is a huge kick now from Clifford, puts this over, and Warrington are 2 scores behind.
Yeah, and this is almost an identical area of the field when he hit the post. You'd expect him to drop this one over, and it's crucial he does to stretch that lead to 8 points and make Warrington score twice, because the clock is becoming a factor now, Dave.
Yep. Clock stopped just for the moment, but there's only 14 minutes left. So not quite panic time from Warrington's point of view if they do find themselves 2 scores behind, but certainly concern time from Warrington if that's the eventuality. Oh, he's put it wide, Clifford. He has put it wide. So 18 points to 24, and we've mentioned this a few times of late. We're in golden point territory.
Yeah, and that's purely because of the kicking ability of Steph Ratchford. 5 tries to 3 and only 6 points in front is a big difference. If it had not one of them kicks over, the complex of this game is completely different. This will allow Steph Ratchford to go long. There'll be no panic because they know now they only have to score once, and wherever they score it on the field, Steph Ratchford, one of the best kickers in the competition, would back himself to kick the goal too.
Well, he's kicked it downfield, and Brad Fash will bring it back. Oh, and almost burst his way through that line of Warrington defence. He pinged about off shoulders. Taylor now will carry it in as well. 25 metres out from his own line. Dwyer at dummy half. We're going to see something from him. Oh, and the passing sign has been lost by Lane.
He's
Has it gone
offside.
backwards? Yeah. Hull picking up again from an offside position. And so a penalty here for Warrington. And suddenly, well, we've said it a few times in this game, suddenly it swings back again here, Kev, because set of 6 for Warrington, 20 metres out, they're only 6 points behind.
Yeah, and the dynamic of the change, the feel of the game feels different now, and that's almost because Hull FC feel like it's theirs to lose, and they look like they tightened up there. They shifted the ball, but it didn't look confident, and now there's a massive opportunity for Warrington.
Dutson drives it in for Warrington, 10 metres out, right in front of the sticks. Warrington fans at that end holding their breath just a little. Drinkwater, and it's a mistake at the play the ball. I think there was a knock on there by Dutson. The referee comes in, blows his whistle, and Hull get the ball back 10 from their own line.
I don't think there's a knock on there. He's played the ball awkward. The ball's not spun back, but he's lifted the foot up and he's kicked the ball. That is a play the ball. That's not a knock on for me, Dave.
No, it's a tight one. Daryl Powell just wipes his hands across his face in frustration at that moment, because that could be a big moment again, because Hull have been let off. They don't have to defend anymore on their own line. They can bring the ball clear here as far downfield as possible with 11 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Hull FC 24, Warrington Wolves 18. A win for Warrington takes them back top of the Super League. At the moment they are second behind Catalan on points difference. A win for Hull just continues to lift the season that looked to be going horribly wrong not that long ago when they lost 7 on the run, but in the last few weeks have looked a different animal. 6 tackle Hull FC. Clifford on the halfway line just jabs the ball downfield. It bounces out of play, scutters and skips out of play, and it will be Warrington to get it back, but only 20 metres from their own line.
Yeah, and I think it's a dangerous ploy to play there by Clifford, just kicking the ball into touch and winding the clock down. There's still 11 minutes to go, and they're 20 metres out. I think they just need to carry on what has been successful for them so far, especially in this second half, and keep ramping this pressure on Warrington and try and score more points.
So it is with Warrington at the moment inside their own half. The sound of Old Faithful echoing around this famous old stadium. There's been some chants, some occasions in this ground down the years, down the decades, and we're not suggesting this is the best of them all. There'll be a few emotional nights here, but this is a good one. It's a really good one, and Warrington have got another penalty just short of the halfway line, so that'll give them a chance to get themselves downfield and set up for another attacking set of 6.
Yeah, and it was Scott Taylor on Paul Vaughan, just couldn't get control of the tackle, couldn't resist putting his hand in on the ball. So with 10 minutes left, another chance for Warrington to put some attack and try and level this game up.
63,000 just over have watched the Magic weekend. We told you earlier, a lot of those staying in here watching the best game of Magic this weekend. This is terrific stuff. And with only 10 minutes to go, we don't know which way it's going as Vaughan drives it in, 15 metres short of the whole line. Cater runs back into his line as he gets up from that tackle. Here's Drinkwater trying to dummy his way through. It's a penalty for Warrington. They're not going to go for 2 here.
There's an
clearly
injury for Josh Drinkwater as well. He
looks
in agony. Yeah, he looks in agony. He went down with the ball there, and if he comes off the field, that's a big blow, not only for the rest of this game but for the season for Warrington Wolves.
Well, the trainer's on, physio's on, water carriers come running out. Gareth Ellis comes running on as well. He's looking good, doesn't he, Gareth? Looks as though he could still play.
Yeah,
he's jogging around.
He's
okay.
made a few comebacks. He might just be expecting a call again.
He did, didn't he? I think it's quite beyond the pale now. Some players, after they finish playing, just continue to look tip-top and athletic, and others let it slip.
It's not easy, Dave.
Others let it slip. Will quite happily feast on 2 pies in an afternoon. Naming no names.
Saw Kylie Luluai before, and I always thought he was a real big bloke, but he said to me, "You're bigger than me now, Kev."
No, we know you're keeping fit with a taekwondo. Jiu-jitsu. He hates Kev hates being told he fights Taekwondo. It's jiu-jitsu. Anyway, Warrington have a chance here. Drinkwater's coming off. He's limping off. He's coming off, but he's walking off under his own steam. Clark's coming back out there. Warrington with a tap penalty, 10 metres out from this whole line. So here they go. Dudson drives it in, 5 metres short of the whitewash as he goes to ground. Walker picks up, delays the pass out to Williams. Williams with a short one. Curry's trying to burst through. Holler there in twos, pulling him down. One upstairs, one down, making sure he can't offload, can't carry on. Williams back to Vaughan. Vaughan pushes forward. He's within 8 metres of that whole line. Walker's having a look around again now. Big set this, huge set this. Matortia straightens it up, just bursts at that whole defensive line again to try and push his way through. Just put down, inches short again. Walker throws it right to Williams. Williams with an out-loop pass. Harrison is tackled immediately by Sutcliffe. Brilliantly read by Sutcliffe. Got in there, wrestled him to the ground. Laz playing the set. Walker tries to dab it in. The ball goes to ground. It's dropped on. Holovic back again. They survived that, and that could be crucial. 6 points in it. Holt 24, Warrington 18. Holovic back again, but only on their own line. And there's some big piling defence coming in from Warrington here.
Yeah, and Peter Matauti has gone into the standoff role now that Josh Drinkwater's gone off. But the problem is, everywhere George Williams will go now, Hull FC will put the fullback and extra defenders, and that's what they did in that set. But so far, it's a good set of 6 for Warrington in this defensive set.
Yeah, I was going to say 3, they've made it to the 10. 4 tackles, they've made it to the 20. Good carry from Swift, and Satai now will add a bit of punch to this as well as he comes in and rolls out of a tackle. He's made a good 12 metres there, but 5 tackles gone. Hollis still midway inside their own half. Going to take a good kick here from Clifford, who puts a big boot on that. Back goes Dufty. Oh, and Dufty, it slips between his hands and bounces out of play, and every man, woman and child in black and white is off their seat to celebrate that moment, because Hull FC on the back of a really tough set have found themselves in an attacking position 10 metres out from the Warrington line.
Well, the kicking game from Jake Clifford today has caused an awful lot of problems off the tee, but also from these hands as well, and on that occasion it looked like a rocket boot. It went 60 metres on the floor and Dufty couldn't keep hold of that ball, and the drop goal in territory now.
Yep. Cater drives it in, 7 minutes to go, but a 7-point lead would be handy at this stage. They wouldn't mind another try. That might be the first option as Satai drives it in. Satai still pushing. Warrington holding up 2 metres out. In comes Dwyer. Dwyer spins it back to Truman, and now it's with Hoy, and Hoy with a dummy, and Hoy slips through and might just have won the match for Hull FC. Down on the bench, they're doing a jig of delight, all of them. Up in that in-goal area, they're embracing their teammates in celebration, and in the stands, packed with black and white, they're all off their seats, wondering whether this is a wonderful win here that sets up the rest of their season.
Well, Clifford's been involved in everything, and once again he were involved. Clifford and Truman combined to give Texoy the space he needed. Matautia, who was playing as a middle unit defender at the start of this game, had to defend at the third man in position, and he is the one that's caught out. He didn't have the pace to get to Texoy there, and he shows the dummy and goes over for a crucial try. You've got to say, with 5 minutes 55 left on the clock, it's Hull FC's to lose.
Well, Clifford will take all the time in the world. Important kick, because puts it over. Warrington have to score twice and convert twice to take it to golden point with only 5.5 to go. But not a crucial kick, because you would have thought a 10-point lead should be enough for the early birds, unless Warrington can plot a remarkable revival. And to remind you, at half-time they led 12-6 did Warrington, but they were dominant, so dominant, all over Hull FC. But it has been a remarkable turnaround in approach to the game in this second period. Hull FC have looked completely different, and they deserve the lead they have at the moment. Question is, can Warrington respond in kind with 5 minutes and 18 seconds of the match remaining? Before they can even think about it, Clifford has a chance to add another 2. Just settles himself down. The ball is 5 metres in from the left touchline, kicking toward the Lees' end, where the Hull fans are amassed, and I do mean amassed. I think they look like the biggest following of the weekend. He's kicked it well, he's kicked it superbly well, and it is now 18 points to 30. 30 points to 18 in Hull's favour with 5 minutes to go. Warrington have to score 2 tries and kick 2 goals to take us to golden point extra time. We've seen some drama on this ground down the years. Catalan St Helens a couple of years ago. Can we see something similar here?
It's got to start with a short kick-off, and if they get the ball back, they have a chance.
It is a short one. The ball bounces, and they do have it back, and Clark has it for Warrington, and he passes it on to Vaughan, and immediately Warrington begin their response from that kick-off with possession. Vaughan put down, 20 metres out, directly in front of the sticks. Walker goes left. Williams now. Here's Dudson, spun to the ground by the tackle of Savelio. But 4 tackles to go for Warrington. 1s and 2s are not good enough for them. They have to go in 4s and 6s. They get another set of 6. Walker's put down 5 metres away from that line. Ball thrown back towards the middle. Williams now hurls it back to Matortia. Matortia to Harrison. Harrison tries to push through. Hull put down. 10 away, and he's lost it. He's lost it, and Hull celebrate that almost as energetically as they celebrated the try earlier, because with 4 minutes to go they get the ball back, and this could be it. It's going to be a head and feed at the scrum, actually. Head and feed at the scrum, this for Hull FC. Our colleagues on 5 Live are going to be joining us very, very shortly to get an update on this. But Hull FC here will get the ball back to much relief. Stanley Jean and Tony Smith in deep conversation behind us, just plotting this game out here, but surely they think they are going to take this through to a finish now. Dwyer at dummy half for Hull, 12 metres out from their own line. Dwyer picks it in, skips it back towards the middle again, and here comes Darnell McIntosh to push it forward another 10 metres or so. Dwyer looking right, here's Savelio. 30 metres away from his line. 3 minutes left to play. The raucous roars you hear are from the Hull FC fans, because it's Hull 30, Warrington 18. Warrington dominant in the first half, but Hull FC likewise dominant in the second. Josh Griffin has completed a hat-trick in the 65th minute. Tex Hoy has just scored a few minutes ago to look as though he's going to complete this game in Hull's favour. Brilliant turnaround from Hull FC. 30 points to 18. Best game of the weekend. 2.5 minutes to go. And here's Truman. Truman making a break. Truman throws it back to Cater. Cater now to Clifford. Clifford puts the kick towards the corner. It bounces and bobbles and drifts away from the chasing Adam Swift and out of play, and a tap restart for Warrington back on the 20-metre mark. But even with 7 tackles here, they're not going to turn this round, are they? With 2 minutes to go, Kev?
Oh, I'm not sure they've got enough time to turn this around now, Dave. And I think the way that Hull FC are playing and the confidence that's running through their veins at the moment, I'm not sure they're going to score any more points, because Hull FC in this second half have been as good as I've seen them for a long, long time.
Absolutely. And you've got to start taking them seriously for a top 6 place now, even if the points suggest otherwise. The league table might suggest otherwise, but halfway through the season, there's a knock on by Warrington, there's a hug again from Hull FC players. 90 seconds left to play. They're going to get the ball back again here. Hull FC on the halfway line from the scrum. Yeah,
and they're going to attack and finish this game out in front of their own fans, and I think this spine of Hull FC have contributed massively. We mentioned George Williams before, but it's been Clifford, Hoy, and that man with the ball now walking over, Jake Truman, who have all been fantastic today. The balance of this side, but the resilience they've shown from the first half too. They were battered in the first half. They had no right to be in this game, never mind win the game at the end.
Well, 5 wins out of 6 this is going to be, and the one they lost against Salford was a really good game last week. They weren't beaten handsomely, they were beaten by a good team, and they that day were a good team as well. So they have turned a corner. After those 7 defeats on the bounce, they have very definitely turned a corner. Next few games, by the way, they're at Lee next week, and then a Challenge Cup quarter-final against St Helens. How big's that going to be? At home. St Helens at home in the league, and then Catalan at home. So if they can win 3 out of 4 of the next few games. Oh, here's Truman carrying it up. towards the line, going to be held down. That Lee Hull game next weekend, next Friday night, is going to be an absolute boomer, isn't it, between two form teams. And now it's with Taylor, who's very close to the Warrington sticks. He's trying to push his way over. He has got over, but he's going to be held up. He's going to be held up. The countdown is on. 5 seconds. Unpick themselves from this. The hooter will sound. The hooter sounds. It's black and white arms raised to the air. Warrington have been beaten here. They will remain in second place, just where they started in the league today. Hull FC aren't climbing the table by much, but in terms of what this means for the season, that is a huge result.
A huge result, and that'll feel nice for Tony Smith coming up against his old team. And what a masterclass that's shown there by Hull FC, how to be resilient and come off the canvas against all the odds and win the game in that fashion. I said it before and I'm going to say it again, that's the best I've seen, especially in the second half, that I've seen from Hull FC for a long time, Dave.
They've lost some games heavily this year, so their points difference is dreadful. But they move up to 12 points now. They remain behind Leeds because of that points difference. But if you wanted to back one of those teams for a run for the rest of the season, just at the moment you'd say it was Hull, and you'd say the top 6 is definitely not beyond them.
Yeah, and if they can keep fit, I think that's the big thing. They often have a lot of injuries, and each season they've dipped off. I think they've done it the better way around, starting a little bit slower and build into the competition. And exactly what you say there, the form suggests, and how they're playing, every single player. Josh Griffin was outstanding, the spine was outstanding. I thought Adam Swift, not only with ball in hand, but some of his scramble defence, the tackle on George Williams. To a man today, Hull FC have stood up, and they needed to, because they were well and truly the second best team in the first half. But the resilience and the way they've come out in the second half and performed is deserving of a win.
Well, terrific stuff. Josh Griffin has got the man of the match medal around his neck. Josh Griffin, not surprisingly, because he scored a hat-trick, but so many of those Hull players today, stars. And it all started with a kick-off, Kev. It all started with a kick-off.
It did, and the momentum changed from there. But the fact that, they went in at 12-6, I think that was the catalyst.